when we're working with sales, and say back to my anecdote from Adobe Max last year, which I guarantee you I did not make up. It's a conversation that happened. I was writing it out on LinkedIn, and I was like, I bet you people think I'm just making this up so I can promote this webinar. It actually happened. But that was the story of a woman who was saying that she was just in this difficult position where sales were like, you've got to fit all the products, features. I need all the copy, the pricing. It needs to go in there. And unfortunately, no matter how much she tried, it was really hard for her to get the creative execution that she wanted. That she was like, I know people don't read this stuff. It needs to be delivered in a certain visual way, in a creative way for it to break through. Like she was everything we're talking about now, she was resonating with. Um, how do you handle that pressure if you ever have, if we've all experienced it in some degree. And Vanessa, this is not to, I'm not slamming on sales here, I think it's totally valid. Sales have a lot of pressure on them to get a lot of, important deals done. So I'm not by any means saying that. But Meredith, how would you handle this pressure to, just put it all on the page or say it all at once? Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, it's definitely a game of balance, and it's a delicate one most often. I'd say we really fall back on the things that we've all mentioned, I think, so far today in our conversation. We leverage our data, our facts, our personas, analytics, feedbacks, what we know are our tried and true, what we have information to support. But really, we make sure we pause to have a conversation. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that, like, yes, we're all moving very quickly and there's a lot going on. We all have so much on our plate all of the time, but it's important that we connect as individuals, as we connect as humans, because at the core, people really want to be heard and they want to see and hear that their ideas are being taken into account and into consideration when we're proposing creative solutions. So together, if we can figure out approach that makes sense, given our audience and our timeline, if we can take that feedback into an account, not only are we going to come out with something that looks incredible, but it's going to hit the market the way that we want. It's going to connect with people the way that we want, and it's going to support a journey overall that makes sense.
Mhm. Matt, I think this gets to your comment earlier about your team being consultants, consultants first. Can you expand on that? How you made that shift within your team, and maybe how that changes how your designers operate?
I think there was a time where our design teams, and they were just referred to as like design services, and it was largely transactional, right? Like if you were somebody else within a company and you needed something, a sales presentation or a piece of like marketing collateral or something like that, you'd say, here's what I need, and you'd give them everything, and and then you'd be very prescriptive, and they just kind of take orders and then give that back to you. And I think that's actually true for a lot of, especially in-house creative teams, is where like you struggle with like, okay, this is what they want, we got to move quick, but also, what's the best solution for them? And so we've really coached our teams to be less transactional and again, to what Vanessa was saying too, like more relational, right? Because like it and that trust factor, that's built over time. And so the more we can show up and we can say, hey, we're thinking about this for you, and we're validating what they're trying to do, but also we're offering things, we're saying, hey, this is what we think would really boost the content or whatever the stories you're trying to tell. This is how you connect the dots there. This is the way to do that. And again, we have a lot of content heavy stuff we have to work through. But to get to offer them some solutions, while at the same time validating them, that turns us into trustworthy consultants. And they can look at that and say, okay, well, I see what you're trying to do. And then when you try it a couple times and it works, like that spreads. The next sales team that's going to come in, they're going to be like, I heard you did this for this person or whatever. We've had people across the globe, our teams across the globe say, hey, you did this for this client. Tell us how you did that, or can you share that? Can you share that? I'm like, yeah, we're sharing everything because when one team wins, like the whole company wins. And so that's sort of the method to do it. It's just to build trust and to validate, what they're trying to do, but then also represent it by providing earnest solutions.
I mean, it's like how any great relationship works, right? You need both sides to buy in. You need both sides to be listened to and heard. Meredith, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, so I echo everything that Matt just said, and I would also add on that don't just wait for those opportunities to come to you, to come across your plate. like to further build that trust and build those, I like to call them our cheerleaders, our internal cheerleaders, bring those ideas to the teams. Like, we've been doing X project for a couple of months. It's working well. Can we try something new that we think will work even better? Like, how can we bring ideas to the table, not just wait for them to come our way, be more proactive in that relationship, helps to further build trust and confidence.
Great. I love that. Vanessa, we've heard a lot from the creative side here about, working together to get a better end result in the content. Have you ever been like in a situation where you've been facing this, you felt like you need to answer, like put more content into the content or put more stuff in there? Like, how do you manage this? And what's your viewpoint to this? Like, what's your opinion here?
Yeah, I think it really goes back to, and even Matt called it out, like that trusted advisor. So as a trusted advisor, I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff. I want to make sure that I'm sending the right information at the right time to the right person. And I think with that being the big focus, that's really how we look to drive value, right? I think it's making sure that we are taking that very prescriptive approach and being thoughtful in how we are delivering that content and what we are sharing across the board with these different prospective buyers and customers. So I would say like that's the big piece that I focus on. And I think at times I kind of take a step back if I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm putting too much stuff in here right now. Let me wait until I hear, right, there could be a better point of value to share this information. So I think we just have to be mindful of what's the right story that I am looking to tell? What am I wanting to articulate? What do I want them to walk away with? What's the message? And make sure that I'm clear in that versus just trying to pack everything together. And everything that Meredith and Matt called out, I think it goes back to working super close with sales and marketing, right? That's where that overall collaboration comes in. So that way we are, pretty clear in like, this is the message that we want to articulate, but also understanding, on the creative side, we're wanting to do it in a thoughtful way versus just probably trying to meet all the different requests that y'all are hearing on the creative side of the house.